computer for now. Welcome to episode number 1 of Things My Dad Said. I am super excited to be bringing this video podcast, whatever it is going to turn into, to you all. If you are listening to this, then it is likely that you are connected. Great to see you again. Welcome. And a lo mejor si estás aquí, hablas español, bienvenidos. Vamos a estar hablando en inglés y en español. Depende cómo va pues, la plática, la charla, ¿verdad? Y pues así usted también me va a oír hablar español en muchas diferentes maneras. Chidas. Diferentes estilos de diferentes regiones, güey. Y para ahorita estamos esperando que llegue el one and only. The man himself, the OG. Should be on any second now. I'm glad you got my intro. I'm gonna get my charger. I guess I can pause.
I was gonna use mine too.
All right. You made it.
Oh.
Si se pudo. So,
What's the plan?
we're recording, we're starting up. I already did a little intro. Pero, vamos a estar en inglés y en español. Be talking between us two. And the plan, at least for today, is to do some intros and intentions. And so I think one of the things, no matter who's listening to this and whatever time, that way they know and we have this information también, what's your name, when were you born, where were you born? You don't have to give your birth date, but that kind of information, I think if you want, maybe even leading up to myself would be a good way to start. And I already said I am Esteban Ruelas, aka this is Chaco 69, here with the big man himself.
Orale, take it easy. Anyway, I think when you mentioned about the birthday, I think that the year will be fine. Because I believe right now, and I always believe that. I believe in linking generations. If we can link generations, most of the crisis will lead us to something better instead of make things worse. So I think that's my 5 cents on that.
Okay, so what was the year, the place?
Probably el año, like what
and
year,
give us your full name.
Like I'm 62, and I'm not 62 years old, almost, but I was born in 1962. Entonces, yo nací en el 62. 62, pero yo soy el más chico. I'm the youngest in the house, so I grew up with older than me. So, and living in the 60s, and then the 70s, there was a lot of things going on as now. Most people don't realize that. They just think that now is like blah, 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 but it always has been. That's why in my mind, I always think that if we can link the generations, si podemos encontrar algo que una a las generaciones, porque cada generación enfrenta diferentes desafíos. Every generation faces different challenges. Entonces, mi nombre soy Esteban Ruelas, born in Mexico and living in California for most of my life.
And you're talking about linking generations, so let's just say the date, might as well. Today is June 1st. 2020.
June 1st, 2020. Today's my sister's birthday,
Oh, which one?
Eva.
Feliz cumpleaños, tía Eva. We love you. Thinking of you today. Thank you for telling me. And so, what else is a part of the story? So you mentioned Mexico. Where specific in Mexico can we say?
I was born in the border. Like most people, like us. It's amazing when you're an immigrant, you always live in the border. It's amazing. If you're not an immigrant, then you're gonna live somewhere else. But like me and you and us, probably everyone here in America, we're all immigrants. So we all live in the border. And so I was born in the border of USA and Mexico. I always see that fans there. I used to pass with the passport. So, anyways, yeah, but Mexicali. I was born in Mexicali.
Mexicali, shout out to La Progal, La Colonia. Which one? If anybody in Mexicali is listening right now and you got to show off your cred, a ver.
Oh yeah.
¿Dónde? ¿Dónde?
La Progar.
There you go.
Too many stories over in that neighborhood. Muchas historias en ese barrio. I still right now I join a group from the barrio. We're bringing back lots of memories. On that group is on Facebook. But
Yeah, no, that's pretty incredible to get to reconnect with people.
the social media is good if we use it for the right things. Not that I believe in right or wrong, but I do believe that things can be misused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we're talking the context a little bit, La Progal, Mexicali, growing up, border, immigrant. So when did the immigration happen, I guess? When did that for you?
When did I transfer myself?
Yeah.
I was back in 77, I believe, somewhere there. I was like 14 or 15. Yeah, 15 years old. And it's been good since then. I mean, it's always been good. I grew up with my parents. My parents, they were good parents. But, I wanted to live my life. So I did. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
still here,
Yeah.
still pedaling, trying to keep the equilibrio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to keep pedaling. If you wanna have your equilibrio, so don't stop pedaling. Because if you stop pedaling, you're gonna go one way or the other. So
Yeah.
always remember, if you're going one way, just pull yourself to the other side, but never stop pedaling. Because if you do, then even if you pull from one end to the other, it's not gonna help.
Yeah. And you know what's funny actually is I was on a bike ride and the chain came off. And the kind of bike I have, the things are clipped. So even though I was pedaling, the chain was off. So it didn't matter. I fell, boom, and somebody stopped there. Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, my chain came off. And I couldn't take my feet off the pedals.
That's what I told you. The linking. The linking. Remember the linking, the chain?
Yeah.
I have two grandchildren. You know that. Your sobrinitos. So they they are gonna grow up in a totally different environment than you did, than your sister did. I mean, not. I mean, mine. I'm way gone. But that's exactly like you say about the chain. Exactly. If we don't keep that linking, the link chain oily with love, with
Mm-hmm.
grace, with forgiveness and all that good stuff, gratitude, you know,
Yeah.
te sale la cadena and then get hurt. Duele.
Yeah, especially depending where you're at. Look, I was at the Rose Bowl, so it was it was
So are you back?
fine. No, no, I'm in Arizona.
Okay. How could you say the Rose Bowl? That's why I say that.
Yeah, that's when that happened. It was like in the beginning of the year, of
That's it.
2020. Cafecito aquí también. And so the emigration happened so around 77, you said,
That's
age
when the
15
peso.
potentially.
That's when the peso start going down. When the
Okay.
peso was steady, There was no need to. But see, but the pesos start going down, and then you know it wasn't enough. I don't consider myself really. I don't think I am como uh, que sea un avaro, pero I do believe in success. But success meaning like not just surviving. Entonces that's why I
Uh-huh.
make that decision. You know, I talked to a couple of friends. Well, first time I talked to a friend of mine, and we both came. Then after a year, I went back, and then it took me like 6 months. I talked to another couple of friends. I think we came back. Boom. I mean, when you're a teenager, life is way easier. You know what I mean? Not too much to think about, not too much to worry about. You know, we love our parents, but the love that we have for our parents is more platonic than anything else. You know, like it's like the your first love. You know, like when you're in love with your girlfriend, but you know, it's just like, yeah, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go see my friends. I love you, but you
That's
know.
gonna be the name of another one of another episode.
Well,
Um,
talking about the linking, you know, if we can, it's like, let me, sorry for interrupting. It's like most people say, you know, the kids nowadays. I say, probably it's not the kids, probably it's the parents. How come our parents did a better job than us? How come they did a better job than what we did, what we're doing?
mm,
You know what I mean? And I'm not blaming one or the other. It's just that I do believe
mm-hmm.
in linking generations.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's my thing.
No, and I agree, and I think that one of the parts is people hearing and knowing, different generation stories, and that's why I'm asking too the questions that I'm asking, because that information might seem like, oh, maybe arbitrary, but it's gonna be important for the linking to know, hey, this is when you were born, this is the situation, at least a little bit, because context is so important for the younger generation, but we also aren't always getting all of the context, right? And so this is where getting to know your context and where your words are coming
Yeah,
from.
that's not including cultural. You know what I mean? You
Not
know,
yet.
that's not including other things. But it's still,
Yeah.
if you can see at least the light at the end of the tunnel, it will help. See, the thing is, when people get blind, they get blunt. You know what I mean? Chatos. You know what I mean? Square. Because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Everything has an end. If it has a begin, it will have an end. You know, and it will keep rolling, cycling. But but we need to see not the light, but a light.
Hmm.
You know,
And so then relating it back, you saw light and coming to al otro lado, ¿verdad? And when you got here al otro lado, where did you land?
I landed in East LA,
All right.
and then I went to
Good.
the gardens. And I never wanted to leave LA, but then I ended up going to the valley, and I've been in the valley since then. Probably since 1984, came to the
Which,
valley.
but by the valley, you mean the
San
San
Gabriel Valley,
Gabriel Valley?
any valleys. You know, when you're in LA, man, you don't want to leave LA.
No, no. And you know what? I always tell people I live in LA and they go, where? I say, on the border. Hey.
Hey,
Highland Park is the border of LA, right? Because next city is Pasadena, and that's not LA anymore. But either way, so to the San Gabriel Valley. But talk a little bit about that time in East LA. You said you were in Bell,
yeah,
and
I was young. I was supposed to go to school. I didn't go to school. Back in those days, they were too crazy. You know, it was crazy. It was probably like right now, you know, today's, I'm talking about June 1st, 2020.
mhm.
It was bad. It was getting really bad. You know, so I end up not going to school. So I end up just at that time, if you don't go to school, You cannot walk on the street because the police will stop you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If they stop me, where are they going to take me? They're not going to call my parents. My parents aren't here. So, it was a totally different. It's like most people think that now before was easier. Yeah, it was easier and a different things, but in other things now is easier. But it's not about being easy or hard. It's about we are here in our time. I believe this is my time, but not as a teenager. This is my time as an older person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that I feel old, but I'm not a teenager. I'm not even a young person. I'm an old person.
You're an elder, maybe?
I'm happy. I'm glad because not too many people had that privilege.
Yeah, that's true. Big time.
Yeah.
And so you're what are you doing, right? During the day then? Do you know?
What am I doing? What do you think I'm doing? You know what I mean? Watching cartoons or something? No. You meet people like you and you start doing things that people like you do. You know
Have
what I
fun.
mean? So first we hang up and
Well, I went to school.
oh, you went to school, so because you have your parents and they watch you and they make sure you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
you
I,
mean if you been an adult like me now?
yeah,
No?
So
Uh-huh.
what did I do? I wasn't a thief. I don't like to go to prison. I don't like jail. So I wasn't a thief, but I know many people they were, and I'm not judging. I think we're all making a living. We're all trying to
Hmm.
survive.
Yeah.
So you know, same thing with other things. I don't know if I should mention it or not, but they weren't things not considered good. Put it that way.
Yeah.
And then we
I
did
think it's all a part of the story,
we
you
did
know.
we did regular things too. Go hiking. No police. Go hiking. Go to the
Yeah.
the Hollywood Hills. You know what I mean? Go to different hills. Take
Yeah.
the bus and go to the hills. Smoke pot, drink something, and you know.
Enjoy the hill.
I don't know if I'm proud of that or if I'm ashamed of that, but neither or.
Yeah.
I was just
It's
uh,
just a part of how the story went.
yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I don't. If you ask me, I don't regret it because everything I done takes me where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And that's why I asked too, because it's easy to say that, right? And then say, well, let's keep everything in the shadow. And not that we need to bring everything to light. And I think that it's important for when we say that I don't regret it, that people know, hey, it's not something that's easy to just say. You kind of have to struggle with and wrestle with
Oh
that
yeah, at that time,
sometimes.
at that moment, like everything, at the moment, it's hard because we're pretenders. You know that, right? We're all pretending. It's like people say, well, how come another person? Don't worry about another person. You don't know exactly what the other person feels or what they're going through or whatever. But we're all pretenders. We're all trying to like, I can be crying right now, but then if I see you, hey, you know what I mean? I'm gonna change the whole scenario. Unless we're really close friends and I can cry and I can say, you know what, I feel so bad, man. I feel like dying. I don't want to live anymore. I remember more than one time, trying to escape this life. You know, but
Yeah.
I not that I wanted to. It's just at that moment.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like just real life. I say that that's a part of the human experience.
Some people deny it and they forgot it because memory is very selective and they don't want to recall those times. You know what? That's what brings me back to life every time because there are times when you feel like probably like SHET
A ver.
como ¿qué se dice? Como miércoles, jueves y viernes. Te sientes como miércoles. Y uno está joven. Ahora ya está uno viejo. It's easier to laugh now. You know what I mean? Porque ya uno ya vivió y ya se dio cuenta que que la vida no se va a acabar. See, when you get older, one of the things, if you really went through and you accept every step, you learn that life isn't gonna end. Today is one day and tomorrow will be another day. At the end of the day, it's only 24 hours a day. You know, it's just like we move on, you know.
Yeah, the cycles, they
Yeah,
continue.
it's like it's the chain, you know, the pedaling.
What was the song you always like to say? The song remains the same.
There you go. One of my favorite albums.
There you go.
Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant.
And so that mean that kind of brings me back to um the story, right? Or your story, better said. And we're there with you in that we're in East LA. You're not going to school. That's not what you're doing. You're enjoying the days that you can. You're working maybe as you're able,
Yeah,
and
I
then there's a point in time where things change, right? Where you make this
there,
shift.
there are a few changes in my life. It's like the Beatles song. You know, what is it? How does it go? Like, there are places I remember. No, you know. So it's has been a few changes. I'm still in the process. I'm still changing. You know, becoming older isn't easy.
Hmm.
I mean, being an elder isn't easy, and I'm not that old either. Thank God I can walk, I can see. I mean, I love reading. So one of the changes is probably when I started making like regularly money, like getting paid every week.
Hmm.
Because before that, you know, you get paid, you go to do a job or something, you get $20, whatever, you know, but then you spend it that same night or whatever, and then next day, whatever I'm gonna do. So it's different. But
Yeah.
when you start getting, you know, constantly money, you know, like every week you get your check, then you can plan. You can go like, well, I can rent, or I can buy a car, or I can do this, or I can do that.
Hmm.
But then if you're gonna buy a car and if you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, you have to stop doing other things. It's like that's another issue. Like sometimes we don't realize that uh, about physics. You know, like two objects cannot occupy the same place. And same thing works for the mind. The same thing works for everything. You know, so you have to give up something in order to get something.
Yeah.
So that, you know, that change start right there. Boom, boom, boom. You know, and but then, you know, we're how do you say, like, somos habituales,
Hmm.
seres habituales.
Yeah. We live very habitually.
Yes. So after,
Mind
so so
mindlessly,
so
mindfully, it's
after
hard to
so,
say.
so after a year, 6 months or 2 years, we forgot. But after a while, it seems like you're stuck on the same, just going in circles again. So then I made another shift, and then it's I wanted to leave, so I wanted to go to the other side of the mountains. You know, I wanted to go to
So
let's
your
say
first shift, really quick, was making money, working, and what
just
was that? Just in terms of timeline, really quick.
that was when I turned 18, when I can work.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That was when I can work, because before that, you know, I used to go help this guy on metal is fixing cars on the metal, you know, and
yeah.
that was a long story. That guy used me a lot. After we're done, he takes me to watch trucks over in Cyprus. You know, at the end of the week, he gave me $20. You know, but what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So, but once you start getting the regularly the money, then it's a totally different thing. But then after
Okay.
that one, when I felt like, yeah, I was just going back into cycles, you know, I should say, you know what, I'm out of here.
And how long was that? From 18 to
Let's say 19.
There you
You know,
go. Yeah, no, we gotta give the context. The
you
people
know
gotta
me.
know.
I'm not gonna. I don't. I don't believe in staying too long. You know, even though I do believe in staying long because I can work for 10, 20 years in the same place, but not doing the same thing or going at the same time. I don't think I get bored. It's just that I believe if you're not moving forward, where are you going? You know, it's like I always tell myself and I tell everybody, you drive your car looking through the front windshield, not through the back mirror. You know, life is not to look back, even if it was good or bad, because I don't believe in good and bad. It's just the past. We live always moving forward.
Hmm.
And at that time, like I told you before, oh, so when you're a teenager, you know, it's another life. That's why
Yeah,
my age will always be 14.
yeah. When you took that first leap, okay, so 19, you're having this kind of realization. Or where are you? Are you in the valley now? Are you
No, no, no.
still in East LA?
I was going to go to Kern County
Okay.
to work on
Yeah,
the
that's
field.
yes.
I was going up the mountain, and then boom, the engine on my car blew.
And by mountain you mean the grapevine?
Yeah, the grapevine.
Oh yeah, the beast that is the grapevine.
You know, back in the days, the cars weren't as today's. You know what I mean?
Even
And I
today,
don't know.
every time you go through it, you
Yeah,
see
even
all.
but now it's not the same. It's not. Trust me, it's not the same.
Oh
Cars,
no, no.
cars now, you know, they don't last as long, but they're better on some things and they're not on other things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I blew the engine. I go like, so I had to come back. So I came back. At that time, they were opening lots of agencies. You know what I mean? Like employment agencies. I was young. I had a car, so they hire me all the time. I speak English. You know, so I just go and apply, and they send me to work right away all the time. I get to a place, they see me, I see them, I see that I can be there for 3, 6 months. You know, I tell them, hey, can you hire me? I go, yeah, we hire you. You know, again, and back, like I said, I went to the valley like in 83, 84. Probably I was already 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, I was struggling. I was struggling, not financially. I was struggling with myself, with life. And then I made the other shit, you know. And I don't know if I can say that I became religious because I don't think I did, but people call it religious. So I became religious. And like I said in the beginning, when I became religious, I say I'm not going to be religious forever. So I became a leader. I'm a religious leader.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, that's how do you say protagonista?
Protagonist.
Okay, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
That caused me criticism, that caused me trouble, but also rewards. So most of the time, the rewards are greater than the criticism and then the pain. And even if the rewards aren't as you know, it's the rewards in inside me feel better.
Internal.
Feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if we have any. If I answer your question, or if you have another question, or if I just continue on and on and on. You know,
Well, we're getting basically to me, or at least for today,
not
right?
not
And
yet.
And so exactly. So we're not there yet.
No, I get it, and I'm sorry if I'm taking too long, but then when I became the leader, I met this beautiful lady. I asked her to marry
No,
me.
no, but I think really quick, just so we're at the age of 21, 22,
I got married.
and but what is the experience of becoming religious? Like, what is that first encounter? What is the some of the things leading into you saying and deciding that you're going to stay there and pursue being a leader? What's some of that?
It's just I would say at the moment, like everything makes you feel good. So I feel good. But I don't believe in feeling good because you can drink a beer and feel good. You can smoke a joint and feel good. You can take a pill and feel good. But
Mm-hmm.
this was something different. I felt good without that pill, without that anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling good. Number one. Uh, Number two, I I'm not gonna say I saw something I never seen because that's not true. But I felt like the the essencia
Mm-hmm.
of
The
me,
essence.
yeah,
Uh-huh. Your
of me
essence. Uh
was was finally it's sprouting. How do you say like
huh.
sprouting? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
sprouting.
So that's why because I finally got to the point where I see my real and I'm not saying this because I haven't even seen my real me.
Yeah.
But
But
at
that
that
was the
moment,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
that moment, that's what. So that's
And so
behind.
that's what attracted you, this experience of connecting with your essence and feeling even like an awakening, right? Like this, because that's what it can feel like, I think.
I mean, it's just
Something new.
like the grass is greener, the sky is bluer. Like
Mm-hmm.
finally you see your smile in your face. You see the shine in your eyes. You're like
Yeah.
where I had been.
Yeah. And in Christian terms, we could say something like experiencing the Holy Spirit, no?
Yeah, I mean, there are many ways to
Or,
say it. The born again, you know. uh,
oh, that's right, born again. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I forgot about that one. That's
yeah,
the main one.
there. Yeah, I believe is the main one. Just because, like even in philosophy and many other cultures, they believe, in three different births. The first birth, the second birth, which is the born again, and or for some, the second birth is when you realize you're here for a purpose. But I believe before you realize you're here with the purpose, you have to first realize that you are here. You know what I mean?
To
Because if
become
you think you have a
conscious.
purpose, but you don't know you're even here.
Yeah, yeah. And so you were in this place of not even knowing you were here, you were struggling. You came from a family that did have Christian background, so you knew something of it, right?
Yeah,
We didn't talk about that, but I know that. And and then you have this experience and you join a community, no?
yeah.
What was the name?
I joined that community right away, and I start helping them. Like I seen what's needed, and I say, you know what, I bring flowers, I bring this, and I do whatever you guys need. Anything I can help. And the name of the place was at the moment, I believe Mount Sinai or something like that. But then the pastor realized that Sinai was the law, so then he changed it to Zion, which is the grace. So yeah, I do believe not in. I do believe somehow in evolution, right? Like everything evolves, right? And nothing starts and ends the same, right? So most people are afraid because they want to keep the same things over and over. Just because the sun remains the same doesn't mean that we cannot add anything or subtract something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a process. We're always moving. We're always on the go.
Yeah. No, as we should be, and so you're in this community, you're enjoying this experience of being born again, right? This second life, um, and you're working your way into becoming a leader, into being, I mean, fully active, and then we can talk. Now we can talk a little bit more, I guess, as we get into how I make my way into the picture,
I
but.
just
What comes in between then? Do you want to talk about?
I saw this girl. I like her. She wasn't coming to our church, but her sister used to, and their mom. So anyway, I just like her, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, we start talking, and we talk, and she felt that I was the person, and I felt the same way. We only talked for 6 months from December to from February to September. So actually, our noviazgo, it was more like to prepare for the wedding. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, we got married. That's another story. That's another shit. You know,
Yeah.
got married the 13th of September, and my closest brother died September 27, 2 weeks after.
Yeah. And there's
You
another shift,
know,
right?
well, I believe, and I always ask myself, and God, whatever God means for anybody, that why do I have to learn that death is real by by going through what I had been gone?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the,
Yeah.
the, the questions without answers, but we do learn. We do learn that we die.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was 27. I was 24, 23. He was 27 and had two kids. He has a 6 or 7 year old boy and a 4 year old girl.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
life went on. Then one of your tios. No, that was after. Then then we were expecting our first baby,
Mm-hmm.
and
Really quick, what was the year that you got married then? Did you say
86,
86? Mm-hmm.
1986, and then by 87, uh, mom was pregnant, but the baby never got attached, so she had a miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pain. It's hard. It's like that first one was harder on her. The last one, the last miscarriage she had, that was very hard on me. After,
Mm-hmm.
after Esteban, I don't know if you remember, but
I remember a little bit, but
that was very hard. Just felt so bad, and I wanted to blame your mom and all that stuff. But anyways,
mm,
it's like the first one your mom was blaming God. Why you make it me feel, and now you're taking it away. But then
yeah.
God blessed us with you.
And so then
You know what I mean?
1988.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a lot, but it's not. Life keeps moving, and we need to keep pedaling because if not, this is not going to go anywhere. And look where we are right now, 2020. We're doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But imagine if I would have stopped pedaling, maybe you wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
even be here, or maybe you wouldn't be here. But who knows what or who or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I think that's a good place to shift into Is that the dog?
¿Qué hago con él?
So we should at least introduce the dog since they're gonna be participating. They want to join the conversation.
That's what I told him.
They're like, why do you get to talk so much? Let's see. There you go. Say hello.
No, 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 no. Oh, yeah.
Like a good dog, it went straight for the face.
Ah, como le hago con-
Um, so I think this is a good time to shift into some intentions. For me, a big intention as an artist is to tell my story, and that realizing that nobody's going to tell my story, nobody's going to do that work for me, right? And so I'm setting out on a journey to continue to tell my story through all these different avenues because I think it's important, because I'm alive and that's it. I don't need any. I always was waiting to be anointed, to be somebody, to be something so that it mattered. And I had to realize for myself that I'm the only one who decides that for me. And so that's a big intention for me. And also realizing that I am not just a random person. I am even just my body, an accumulation, and my mind of my past, and so this is a part of, like you're saying, linking. And I think that's an intention as well, is for me highlighting the complexity of anybody and everybody, and then linking, right? And what are the things that we want to link? And obviously we have the
the dog.
the dog.
He edited it right there.
There you go. The dog, edit it, that's it. Okay.
There,
Um, so what are some intentions that have come up for you in terms of why you've been pushing me to write? I've been writing. What are some of your intentions? I think even as an elder for
there,
this time.
there are things I do believe. I don't like to believe in many things because I don't think, not that we're not capable, because our brains are amazing, but we are not the whole. We're just one piece of the whole. So if everyone be that piece, we can make the whole. So I don't know that, no 100%, but I do believe most of my life I've been intentional.
Hmm.
I do believe in serendipas, you know what I mean? Like miracles. I believe in things happen just because they happen.
Synchronicities.
You know what I mean? But I also believe that there are things that you need to make them happen. So have to be intentional. Things aren't going to happen just because they're going to happen. No, there are a lot of things that there are going to happen because they're going to happen. But there are things. So going back in my life, see, like when I came here for more than just one reason. And I wasn't
Hmm.
just peso, you know what I mean? That was getting in trouble there too. You know, I used to be a tagger. I used to tag. So I was putting my family in jeopardy because I was tagging, and at that time it was getting crazy with bullets, especially after the movie Boulevard Nights, when, you know what I mean? So that was one. Then the peso, one. So the other thing is that I wanted to get a car. I wanted to buy a car. That's why I want to come over here, because it was easier with dollars to buy a car than with pesos. So as you know, it's more than just one thing. We move more on conscience than conscience, right? But
Hmm.
you have to be intentional. At least knowing what you think, or like one thing, we know. So even when I became the leader, I do became the leader because when I wasn't doing, uh, we're just gonna keep using the word good or bad, just for the record. But when I wasn't doing good and I was doing bad, I was encouraging others So when I saw this little bit of light and I feel myself, I wanted to share that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so I like I said, I believe somehow with more than one intention because we're complex, but at least I believe I had been intentional. That's why I keep pushing you. I keep pushing you. I mean, you went to university. I'm still paying. I don't know if you're done with your payments, but I'm still paying. I mean,
I'm not done with any payments.
I'm still paying that. You know what I mean? I think I owe like $1,500. I put it on hold for for the pandemic thing. So I'm going back in September, paying $300. So probably by the end of the year I'll be off finally. How long ago you graduate? But
Yeah.
anyways, thank God, like I told you before, if they let us borrow the money, it's not our fault. And they did. They let us borrow the money, you finished. But you didn't finish because it would be nice if you would be done with your master's or your doctor or something by now. But there's
Hmm.
time always. There's a time. There will be a time. So
Yeah.
so it wasn't just you. It was also your sister and then your younger brother. So it wasn't just you, like you. Got it?
No, yeah. And I think this is where, this is where our stories blend, if anything. This is where I start talking about being born and my experience of having somebody who had this dream of becoming a religious leader, of sharing, and what that my experience as the oldest, you're the youngest, that's the difference, and so I can start talking about that as well. And I think it's important for me to continue to hear the story so that I can continue to tell, where we're coming from. I would be even interested to hear about like your memories of being at home. But I can say, in terms of an introduction, my name is Esteban Ruelas. I live in Highland Park currently. Born in
The
Montebello,
border of Highland Park.
in the border of Highland Park. Yeah. Montebello, 1988. Remember growing up in El Monte, then Pomona, Baldwin Park, El Monte, again in Covina. Currently, I consider myself to be a healer and an artist. And I also do consulting for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And your story, is a part of why I do what I do today, right? And you talked about you went to go work for 1 year, and you imagine I went to go work for 8 years before I figured out that I didn't want to go work anymore. And my own journey of being and considering myself a spiritual leader, and the journey of now trying to take that on, right? um and seeing that cycle, even though I spent so much time in religious settings, kind of hating that, the for me, having to grow up with the both of loving it and hating it. But at least at the end I got to see the
That's
life
duality.
is a contradiction. Yeah. And what it means to love something so much and hate it so much. Oh my gosh.
They're love and hate. They're friends. They're brothers. They live together. It's like life and death.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
every you know. We have to learn to live like Pink Floyd, loving the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. 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 I like to say there is no shadow without light. There is no light without shadow. So
No, no, no.
I think with the intentions is to continue to tell the story, but also to bring this wisdom and to link. And that's something that I'm committed to doing here with you, is what are the links to keep this change strong so that we can keep pedaling right on this, in this metaphor that I think we can continue to build on. And also I think talking about consciousness and spirituality we don't have to do this on this one, but on the next one, hearing about that journey then from you building this spiritual practice and discipline around Christianity, and how you went teaching that. Even I don't care so much about other people, but even to me and to then the family, um to where you're at now.
I think, and I don't think is the right word. But sometimes we're short on words. Our information isn't as great as it should be. But to keep that link, I believe in art, ART.
Hmm.
But I say hold it right there. For me, art, I probably will ask you first, and then I tell you. For you, what is art?
Well, art is, um I think art can be the expression of anything, as long as there's, I mean, I would say that there usually is some intentionality, and whatever the intention is, that as long as you express it, that's art.
I think that was a good uh, way to put it. I'm gonna tell you the way I put it. Art to me is to see the beauty, to see the beauty. So the wisdom on the linking, we need to see the beauty. See, not all religion is bad. Not all religion is good. Not all of any philosophy or anything is bad, but not all of them is good either. But if we want to continue pedaling and linking, we need to do art, which means to me to see the beauty, to see the beauty. I believe in why see what makes us weak and divide us instead of seeing what makes us stronger and unite us. That's what I will say to link all these in the words of wisdom. See the beauty. See the beauty, even if you don't like it, even if it's something you don't believe in, even if, whatever that is, just see the beauty. Because if it is awful, if it is ugly, if it is whatever it is, it has the other side.
Yeah, and that makes me think of meditation, and I think for me that's what a lot of meditation is being able to see the beauty in things, because at least for me, the experience of seeing the beauty in anything has usually come from slowing down, and taking the time to really to be in awe of whatever it is.
Can you imagine, like you, and imagine Zeke and Grace? I didn't grow up with, what is it, Eckhart Tolle. I didn't grow up with
Eckhart
Wayne
Tolle.
Dyer. I didn't grow up with all these wise men that they talk about the present and talk about all these things. You know what I mean? Even
Hmm.
though, you know what I mean, I there are that's something I've done all most of my life.
Yeah.
That's why, see, I learned that art out of my brother, one of my brothers, the one that died when he was 27 in 1986.
Hmm.
Because for him, everything was art. Whatever you do, you're gonna have a girlfriend. You have to know the art of being boyfriend and to have a girlfriend. If you want to have a car, you have to see the art of owning a car. That way, you will take good care of your car. You will keep it clean. You will keep it service. You will. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's why I put you his name. So you got better have some of him on you.
Yeah.
He was Moises.
Hmm. Yeah.
So Isaac, because you're my promised son, you know. When I was growing up, I thought I was gonna die at 21 because one of my other brothers died at 21, and they told me I look a lot like him, and I always thought I was gonna die at 21. But then after that, when I passed at 21, I thought I wasn't gonna never gonna get married, and I did end up getting married. And so when you came, you know, the first one we couldn't have it. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I named you Isaac. You know, that according to the Hebrews and the Bible, Isaac was the promised son.
Mm-hmm.
And I put you Moses in memory of my brother.
Yeah.
And then you got that Ruelas, that's the greatest, just like
Top notch.
Tata Manuel.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think that that's a great way to link it in. My intention for this year is to spread wisdom. And so I think that that's going to be a big part of this time that we get together, because for me, growing up, that was something that was heavily instilled in me, um, by you and mom. And that when I talk to people about wisdom, most people didn't grow up in households where they use that word. And I feel so grateful that that is a force that has been very present in my life, is the presence of wisdom, right? And I think that that's something that is a part of what our medicine for the world is whatever this wisdom is that we have.
And before we end up talking about wisdom, I think I told you when we were talking that day over on Pasadena, no, what was it, Highland Park, when I took you something food that your mom cooked or something. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes Espanol, Inglés, Italiano, Portuguese, or whatever, it helps because you see the etymology on a different perspective, especially that English is only made out of all the languages of the world. En cambio, Espanol, it's only like Greek and Latin. But see, sabiduría comes from the word flavor. So if we
Mm-hmm.
want to share, if we want to share, sabiduría, wisdom, that means we are sharing flavor. If we want to bring it to a Christianity, Jesus Christ says you are the salt of the earth. So yeah, we need that wisdom. We need the wisdom. We need to learn, and if we can help in any way, that's what we're here for.
And that's the art, right?
That's the art. That's it.
Yeah.
And if anybody can see the art, it's like I told you, you do your drawings. I don't get it. I don't know, but I love you, so I love what you do, and I see whatever I want to see because I see the beauty. You see the beauty that you do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I believe, Isaac. I don't know if we have time anymore, but I do believe that uh, semantic.
Uh-huh.
It's
Cement.
important. It's important. It's very important. Lexico, lenguaje, language,
Yeah.
because we're very short. We're very short in language. And 2001, 2002, 2003, I worked for this group called Parent Institute for the Quality of Education. I mean, that wasn't really a work, but I was teaching in classes since elementary to high school. You went with me a couple of times, probably.
I
And,
went to a lot of them.
and then I was teaching the parents how to help their children. And when they teach us, the teachers, it was sad because they say, in our culture, in nuestra cultura, sadly, people graduate from high school knowing 1,000 words. On a higher society, children graduate kindergarten knowing 10,000 words.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, oppression is real, and that's one of the ways that
That's,
it showed up is through education.
I always complain to your teachers all the time because they say, oh, they're average. They say, average with whom? Can I take them to San Marino or San Juan Capistrano and they can compete? Say, no, okay, that's exactly what I'm saying. They're not average. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And again, there are not a lot of things, but maybe one thing we can share, and I really hope that we can. I believe this is our time. We better start writing. You better start doing what you
I've been writing, I've been painting, I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
now.
It
Let's
is hard.
let's
It
go to the next level.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the one thing I've learned is that I have to invest. And if I don't spend my days painting and writing, then I don't believe in my painting and my writing. And so it's hard because it's not about money. And that's one thing that I also learned growing up and even still now, and that I respect, and um, it's something that I buy into, is that I don't make art for the money. And I believe that in abundance, I believe that I'm going to give my best and that I will receive the best. But it's hard because of how much, you know, the
It's hard.
conditioning.
We makes it hard. We makes it hard because we're always we're always ahead. We're never present. I love being present. Trust me, I love. Again, if I look back, I think that's all the things that Osho and all these people talk about. I think I live it all the time. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
love being present. I love being with myself. I love, being alone, even though sometimes being alone, it's just being alone, doing what alone people do. You know what I mean? It's
there's
just,
light and shadow. Yeah,
you know,
it's not just
it's
one
sad because it's
experience.
sad because sometimes others get hurt because they get you on the dark side. They don't, it's like the trucks. If you don't see my mirror, I don't see you. Be careful because I run you over. Sometimes they get you in your 5 minutes, they get you in the wrong time.
Yeah,
And not that they get you, they get one, anybody.
yeah, get me.
Talk about that many times. It's not
Yeah.
you, I mean, it's one.
Yeah, well, we'll clarify that and I think that one of the things that I like to practice is using I. And so, if I ever feel, I know you and I know how you talk. So if I ever feel like it's important to clarify, I will ask. And I think that that's one of the ways in which your art, right, of philosophy and speaking is that way. And that art is also indicative of a generation, and I think something important.
It's just, again, like you just said it right now, it's just that, and I said it too, it's about more, it's just language, it's hard.
Exactly.
People don't even know any pronouns, it's like in Espanol when they say vosotros or vos, like vos, what is that? Vos for us is voice, right? What do you mean vos? You know what I mean? But again, it's just that different cultures, different ages, different. But again, I go back to the same.
Linking.
Uh,
Yeah.
let's be kids. Hey, teachers, leave those kids alone.
You have to, because they're not going to be kids,
Yeah, they're not
they're
gonna be.
in the future.
Yeah,
They're not kids now. That's it. It's the
that
same thing with teenagers. If they're not going to be teenagers in the future. I mean, I guess we see with the midlife crises that people try to be, but it's not the same as when you should have done it, right?
well, it's like that. Why parents punish their kids, beating them?
Well,
Why?
that's generational trauma.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because they can't try it when they're older. It's not gonna work. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah.
People do what they do because we can.
Well, and that's you can, and that one of the things I was been writing about is how when we want to take out our anger, we do it where we can. When we want to change something, we do it where we can. The problem is that sometimes where we can is not right. Like you're saying, in this case, where a parent might be frustrated, parents are angry, they're having to deal with life, and they're wanting to create this change. The only place where they can force this change, right, where they can, like you said, is with these children. So that's where they do it then. And it's not exactly the place.
How do you say cuento?
Cuento, story,
Story, is that what it is? Okay. I
parable.
lately for the last 2 3 years, I do everything with story. You know, I mean, like on that, the story is like the person looking for something when there was light. When they ask him where he lost them or she lost them, he say over there. He say, "What are you looking for right here? Because here's light. Over there is dark." You know what I mean? It's that's what it is. You know, it's not gonna work, but we're gonna continue to do it unless people like you and I and many others, which is aren't many, but hopefully will be more and more and more, sharing that wisdom, sharing that caring, sharing that love, sharing that all of that we need. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's like the Beatles. All we need is not that we need to. Someone have to do it. Someone have to share the love, the wisdom.
Yes, and I especially right now wanting to acknowledge, what's happening in the world, that there's a lot of I'll name it as righteous rage, and also there's not enough wisdom to accompany this rage. And so, sending love and healing to all the communities, but especially our Black African American sisters, right now. And and I think wisdom is going to be a part of, like I said, the medicine that we bring, even right now, and especially right now. We need wisdom to be able to bring balance.
Yeah, we need light to keep paddling, man. Because if we don't paddle, we're not gonna keep the balance. We're gonna
Yeah.
go one way or the other, and we're gonna push from one side to the other. You know what I mean? It's not
Yep.
gonna. It's not gonna. It's not. We're just gonna keep walking on the same rope.
At the end of this series, I want everybody to know that we're going to be pitching you all a brand new bicycle that we designed for this metaphor. No.
You can
But
make
that might be a good idea.
you can draw one and draw one, one with the stick, one without the stick. I always used to use the metaphor of how many believe I can cross this road with my bike, and everybody go like yeah, and they say how many believe I can cross it with my eyes closed. Everybody go yeah, and then I say you believe I can do it. And he say yeah, okay, jump in the bike with me.
It's how I don't know. I don't know you like that.
It's not, they don't know. They're not sure if I can cross it.
But see, this is exactly why, when in terms of even just the semantics piece that we were talking about earlier, right? And how I like to use I, and I think that metaphor is perfect for why, because I feel a lot of times we will say this or say that, and we don't have to own it, right? And I'm like, when we say I, then we have to actually own it, and to an extent, it's like that story, that's what it means to own it. Is, do you really own what you're saying? Get on the bike then. If you
Right?
don't, then don't say it. It's okay.
Don't go out doing what you're not supposed to do.
I'm
You
not
know,
gonna.
if like right now, it's crazy, and I believe there very few people are doing it for the right reason. Many others are just doing it because they don't have nothing else to do. Sadly, and I don't mean to say it for a racist thing or for any of these, any of that. It's just that you believe we can cross it, jump on it. If not, just just do something. Just do whatever you can. You know what I mean? It's like if we're not part of the solution, we will become part of the problem.
Yeah.
And we want the light,
Yeah.
we want the wisdom, we want the love. We want to see a different world. I got
Yeah.
two grandchildren. I want to see them grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, life is different for me as for you and as for others. Because now I'm almost 60. You know, it's different. Now it's different. Now I have sons and daughter and grandson and a granddaughter.
Hmm.
It's not the same, but it is the same because I was a grandson one time and I was a son another time and now I become a father. So it's just I'm you, you are me. I'm Seek is me. If we can link together with the information, because that's what we are. We are information. We are a what is it? ADN?
DNA.
DNA.
Hmm.
That's those are all the topics.
Well, and that's why I think for me, a lot of the this kind of stuff, I think whether anybody else listens to it or not, I don't care. But I do think it's important that somebody like Zeke, that Grace, and whoever comes
Yeah, whoever comes.
after them, that they have this, whether anybody else has it or not, but that we have secrets, that Ruelas in our DNA, we have that sabiduria, we have that flavor, right?
Other people
And
will have
whether
it.
other people have it too, and that's not, I always say that's not my problem. That's not
No,
my
what I mean is as what you're saying, I'm just trying to. This is gonna become viral, and we are chosen. We are here with the reason, with the purpose. This
Yeah.
is this. We're not just wasting time or trying to convince ourselves. I'm not trying to convince you. You're not trying to convince me. We're doing
Hmm.
this because this is a method, today's method, and we are probably not the first time, probably not the second time, because we're not professionals. You're ahead of me on this, but we'll get there.
Yeah, yeah, and I do believe that, and I have found that for myself at least, the intentions, setting those intentions, create art that at the end I agree with, and that when I have different intentions, sometimes I get to the end of the art, and I do ask myself, why did I create this?
You know how long it took me to do these as normal as right now? It took
60 years.
or 6 years, but right lately, 2 months, because I was pushed. Churches are closed, so I need to use this.
Yeah.
It was so hard for me to talk to that computer. It was like I can see myself now. Now I do it easily.
Now we're here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging you. I'm empowering you. There are people are going to listen to you. There are people who are going to listen to us. We are going to get better on this. This is our first time doing it.
Yeah.
There are many things I've done the first time. Most of the time didn't come out right. But after the second time, the third time, and the fourth time, it
Yeah.
became better and better.
And luckily, this is, yeah, I've had some training as well. And I've had a couple other projects that I think are part of supporting
You're
this.
ahead.
And I'm happy. I'm happy that, I did make a decision to start a podcast a couple years ago with another company. I'm happy that I've been trying to make vlogs and that if you go to my YouTube, this is not my first video that's going to be up. And so I'm excited to keep making art now with you. And we've had the opportunity to make lots of art in different ways in the past. And I think this is a new way for us to bring that art. And I believe and receive that people are going to be touched and transformed.
We've done lots of art, Isaac.
Yeah.
Music, music, plays,
Preaching.
sports,
Yeah.
all kinds. It's amazing. I mean, we can look back and we don't have enough fingers to count all the things that you done, that I done, and we're done, and it's like
Yeah,
you
that
know.
we done. So I'm
So
excited to continue that tradition.
yes, sir.
And to bring all y'all along, first episode, thank you for being here with us. I am Isaac Moses Ruelas, aka this is Chaco69, aka I am Mind, Body, and Spirit. And this is the big man himself. Give him
Es-
your outro.
Esteban Ruelas, and I don't know what my Twitter is, but I do have a Twitter. I do have Instagram and Facebook and all that, but I'm not too good into all these media. I'm old fashioned, but I believe if we can put together the old with the new, we can get much stronger. So that's me.
There you go. And just to add on that, you can find me on Instagram at this is Chaco69. You can find me on Twitter at this is Chaco. You can find Esteban on Twitter at thoughts from the nice guy.
There you go. That's really nice.
Hey. And you can find us on YouTube where you'll be listening to this, and also on the podcasting streams. Right now, really quick, what are we going to call this podcast? I have things my dad said. We have sabiduría. We have flavor. The art of flavor. The art of sabiduría. What do you think? We're naming it right here live for the people.
We can name it. Linking you with us and us with you and be together all together. Linking each other, being part of each other, joining
Okay.
each other.
Linked. Linked it is. Okay. Thank you. We're going to keep bringing this to you all and sending you all love and peace. Stay linked. And if you are wanting to link up with us, send us a message. And you already saw it, you heard it here. We're excited to link.
Yes.
Also, I have Sunday sound baths that you all can come to virtually right now, and might as well, big man. You also offer some church, no?
I do offer some church, but let's keep that for the next one or after the next one. Again, we need to see the art first because sometimes people are afraid, and then when they hear something right away, they go like, no. You know what I mean? It's like when people ask me, "Are you Christian?" I say, "You said it. I didn't say it. I'm not putting any barrier. I'm me. I'm not before I'm Christian, before I'm whatever you can call me. I'm me."
Perfect. Everybody, stay true, stay linked. I love you. Love you too, pops.